Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajrakacharya Ashtodhara Shuddha Jai Srimati Swangais Isi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, Text 41. Pravittaya Nivrittaya Pitridevaya Karmane Namo Dharma Vipakaya Mritave Dukadaya Cha Pravittaya Nivrittaya Pitridevaya Karmane Namo Dharma Vipakaya Pritave Dukadaya Cha Pravittaya Nivrittaya Pitridevaya Karmane Namo Dharma Vipakaya Mritave Dukadaya Cha Pravittaya, inclination. Nivrittaya, disinclination. Pritridevaya, unto the master of Pitri Loka. Karmane, unto the resultant action of fruitive activities. Namaha, offering respects. Adharma, irreligious. Vipakaya, unto the result. Mrityave, unto death. Dukkadaya, the cause of all kinds of miserable conditions. Cha, also. My dear Lord, you are the viewer of the results of pious activities. You are inclination, disinclination, in the resultant activities. You are the cause of the miserable conditions of life caused by irreligion, and therefore you are death. I offer you my respectful obeisances. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart, and from him issue a living entity's inclinations and disinclinations. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smatir jnanam abohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead causes the asuras to forget him and the devotees to remember him. One's disinclinations are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text 7, pravitram cha nivrittam cha jana na vidur asura. The asuras do not know which way one should be inclined to act and which way one should not be inclined to act. Although the asuras oppose devotional service, it is to be understood that they are inclined that way due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the asuras do not like to engage in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord within gives them the intelligence to forget. Ordinary karmis desire promotion to Prithvi Loka, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 25. Yanti deva vrita devan prithvin yanti priti vritaha. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. And those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors. In this verse, the word dukkha daya is also very significant. For those who are non-devotees are perpetually put into the cycle of birth and death. This is a very miserable condition. Because one's position in life is attained according to one's activities, the asuras, or non-devotees, are put into such miserable conditions. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvanmaditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Makam Karidavachalam Pangam Langayate Gidim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Diditadaram Vancha Akapadavishta Kripa Sindhubhya Vichapatitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Shri Vedikatara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, translation again. My dear Lord, you are the reviewer of the results of pious activities. You are inclination, disinclination, in their resultant activities. You are the cause of the miserable conditions of life, caused by irreligion, and therefore you are death. I offer you my respectful obeisances. So within this purport, many interesting things are, valuable things are stated, which of course shouldn't be taken out of context. So it says Krishna, he's the inclination, disinclination. So it says that our inclinations are due to Krishna, but what we're interested in, what we like to do, what we want to do, or what we don't want to do, or what we don't like to do. Oh, that's all coming from Krishna. But specifically, the idea is that it is coming from Krishna, but specifically, Krishna is reciprocating with the living entity's desires, which is an important thing. It's not that all of the evil that goes on in the name of religion is Krishna's desire. You could say that, okay, Krishna gives the person's ability to do so many evil things. I mean, Krishna's given the ability to everyone to do so many things. To whatever they're doing is actually coming. The ability is coming from Krishna, but it's the living entity's misuse or foolish desires that are inspiring so many evil things. For example, in the name of religion, not that Krishna wants it, and therefore. So yeah, people they have a tendency to blame Krishna. It's all Krishna's fault. I'm like this because of Krishna, or the world's messed up because of Krishna. And that's the atheistic mentality. That's the atheistic mentality that why doesn't your God just come here and fix everything? I had somebody tell me that recently. Why doesn't he just come here and fix everything? I mean, that was what that practically is saying is that they don't accept the existence of God, because because what they're expecting is that, if there is a God, then he must come here and fix it. Why is everything so messed up? Why doesn't he come here and fix it? Just like Hiranyakashipu was saying. There's this Hiranyakashipu mentality. Why doesn't your Krishna, why didn't your God just come and save you? Is he in this pillar? And him saying that is a sarcastic remark to Prahlad Maharaj. What do you think, he's in this pillar? He's nowhere. I mean, he doesn't, I'm not sure, because Hiranyakashipu, I mean, he had this idea that Vishnu existed, but I don't know what he was thinking. Because he knew who Vishnu was. Vishnu killed his brother Hiranyaksha, but he didn't obviously clearly understand his godhood, apparently, how powerful he really was. So you could say he's an atheist. Doesn't understand. So he said, what do you think, he's in this pillar? And Prahlad Maharaj, yeah, he's everywhere. And he hits the pillar with his fist, and then Nrsimhadev comes out, very ferocious. Says his tongue is, I forgot the description, but like a dueling sword, yeah. Red eyes. So, and this is out of affection for Prahlad Maharaj. He's coming. So it's also a sweet form. Nrsimhadev is a sweet form in the sense that he's coming out of affection for his devotee. But yeah, it's a challenge. The Hiranyakashipu mentality, the atheist mentality is a challenge. Why doesn't God just come here and fix everything? Well, we would say that it's due to the living entity's sinful, foolish, materialistic, egotistic desires. That's what messes everything up. I mean, they're not following the instructions of Krishna, so, everything's a mess. Yeah, because you're not following the instructions. It's simple as that. Of course, you could... This is just one angle of vision. There's many angles of vision, how to look at a particular thing, but one aspect. But collectively, that's the problem. People aren't following instructions of Krishna. There's so much chaos. Individually, I mean, why do people have problems individually? They're not following instructions of Krishna. So yeah, this is the inclinations are, you could say, being sanctioned by Krishna. Krishna is giving the person's ability to do as they please, so to say. But it's not that Krishna himself is pleased by such activities. Just because he's helping them doesn't mean he's pleased by the activities. And therefore, he gives the ability to devotees to do so many things. First of all, just to remember him. That's a great blessing. If you could remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's a great blessing. Or just, for example, the interest to chant. I mean, the interest to chant is actually due to, I mean, of course you could say it's our desire, we have some sincerity, but Krishna is blessing that. He's giving us the ability to chant, to be interested in chanting. It's a blessing. And so many things like that. And he's also giving the asuras, or the non-devotees, the ability to forget him, because that's what they want. So we could see that Krishna, he is he wants people to develop a relationship with him out of affection, not out of fear, not out of just scaring people, right? Scaring people into, or forcing people into loving them, like ultimately, really forcing people. Krishna's not into that. And also in this purport, Prabhupada is quoting from the Bhagavad Gita, saying that the suras is a divine and demoniac. So demoniac, they do not know what is to be done, what to do, and they don't know what should not be done, what they shouldn't do. But interesting enough is that although that's the case, according to Krishna, and devotees have faith in that, although that's the case, they think they know what is to be done and what is not to be done. They have faith that they know, but they actually don't know. But this is due to pride. This is due to arrogance. Oh, I know what should be done, and I know what should not be done. In other words, I'm in knowledge. But Krishna says, no, you're not. No, they're not. They're in ignorance, and they don't know what to do and what not to do. And they think that, oh, it's all about material progress, right? Oh, it's all about material progress. As long as you could progress materially, that is what you should be doing with your life. It's just progress materially. That's considered successful. And the more you could progress materially, the more successful you are. And not to forget, important point, at the expense of God consciousness. So, in other words, God consciousness doesn't matter. Throw it in the trash. Crumple up the idea and throw it in the, mental dustbin. It has no value. It's useless. And just go as fast as possible, as intense as possible. Become a pure devotee of material progress, material progression, and in this way you'll your success. This is asuras think. And what they'll do is they'll criticize devotees. That's why it says we shouldn't associate with non-devotees. That's one of the reasons. Janasanga. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha janasangasya lalamcha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. Destroys the bhakti sentiments, or the inclinations towards bhakti, towards devotional service, all of these things. Janasanga, non-devotee association. So it's not that Rupa Goswami is some, renunciate? Oh, okay. Renunciant. It's not that Rupa Goswami is some renunciant in Vrindavan, some hard-hearted renunciant in Vrindavan, and he just happens to have a strong dislike for materialistic people. But he is, with his supremely Krishna-inspired intelligence, writing these books and saying, Janasanga, give it up. Vinashyati, it destroys inclinations to bhakti. So the reason is, Rupa Goswami is not some hater of people. It actually says that everybody loved him, the ruffians and the gentle. But it's a warning in the sense that, why? Because when we associate with non-devotees, that's what they do. They criticize devotional service, directly or indirectly. They criticize it directly, it's gonna wait. It's a waste of time, and what are you doing with your life? And why don't you do something important? Or they may not criticize it directly, but they criticize it indirectly by their activities. In not engaging in devotional service, they are saying with their activities that it's valueless. Right? As that saying goes, actions speak louder than words. So with their activities, they're saying it's useless. So therefore, we should give it up. So they will criticize devotional server, they criticize devotees, and they'll say, "Oh, you're a coward, not cowherd. You're a coward. You're running away from what really matters, material progress. You just want to go live in a temple and be join the monastic lifestyle so you could just get free handouts, right? 3 hots and a cot, 3 hot meals, right? 3 hots and a mat." But okay, I mean, there are some people like that throughout the world. They join institutions because 3 hots and a cot. I mean, that 3 hots, 3 hot meals and a cot, a bed. There are people who go back and keep on going back to prison. Why? Because it's easier, I just rob somebody. I do something stupid. I go to jail, and I could work in the kitchen. Work out, and I could just take my hot meals, and got a place to sleep, and not so bad. It is bad, but so it is true that people may join that institution, but for that reason, but not everybody does, and most people don't, in general. But they'll say that, "Oh, you're running away. You're running away from material progress." Right? Parents tell their young boys who want to join ashram, "Oh, you're running away." But we would say that, no, sir, actually you're a coward because you're running away. You're running away from spiritual progress. You're running away from Krishna. You're running away from responsibility. Because that's what they say. They say you're running away from your material responsibilities. But we say, no, you're running away from your spiritual responsibilities. As a human being, you're running away from your human responsibilities. That's the problem. In other words, you are just focusing on your animal responsibilities and running away from spiritual responsibilities. So you're the coward. So in this way, you could see it's a completely different value system, and the Vaishnavas will say the Asuras, they're completely backwards. They got their pants on backwards. Huh? Yeah, they have their pants on, period, yeah. So we say that, but the Vaishnavas will say that, you're backwards. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's what Krishna's saying. But you do not know, they do not know what to do, they do not know what not to do. And that's the definition of Maya. Being backwards means you're in Maya. Means they're in Maya. They don't know what to do. And therefore there's that wonderful prayers of Akrura in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Jupiter Prabhu, you remember that one? That's about, it's like you see the source of suffering as your happiness. You think you're the body, but that's a good one.
It's a real good one. The next one too, where he talks about the animal running out into the desert. Anityanatma dukkeshu viparya materyaham dvandvaramo tamo vishno na jane tvatmanak priyam. I'm so fallen, I'm taking that which is temporary to be permanent. Anityam, anatma, that which is not me to be me. And that which is sources of misery to be sources of happiness. In this way, my whole position is reversed, viparya materiaham. And in this condition, I'm trying to enjoy the dualities of this world, dvandvaramo, and entering further and further into darkness, tamo vishta. And then the last line it says, najane tvatmanak priyam. The worst tragedy is that I don't know that you, my Lord, are my very self and my dearest master, like that.
Wow, it's amazing.
It's a nice prayer.
Yeah, so I mean, he's saying that Akru is saying that he's accepting what is temporary to be eternal. Oh, it's going to last forever. Like Prabhupada, I think he stated somewhere recently we read that people, maybe it's in the Bhagavad Gita, people in the mode of passion build up a house and they act like they and their family are going to live there forever. That's how they're thinking, taking his eternal situation. And then Akru is saying that that the person is accepting the body as the self. So they don't know who they are. They're the soul, but they're accepting, I'm the body. And then they're accepting that things that are actually sources of distress, they're happiness. So you can see, I mean, it's quite a state to be in. And in this way, they're absorbed in duality, right? The duality of the world. And they're trying to enjoy themselves, right? Trying to enjoy themselves. Enjoy the dualities of this world. And this way they're going further into darkness. And then Akru says, and the worst, and the problem is I don't know, I forgot that you're my dearmost master. Priyam, which is dear. So, so that's a what is it? Deplorable state. That's a deplorable state to be in, and that's the state of a lot of people, and therefore the idea is that we want to try to help them in the sense that they, first of all, they need help. We should understand that they need help. Sometimes people don't understand that people need help, and you think that people are good, like they're not good, and they do need help, and there's so much suffering going on because of ignorance, actually. Just like recently someone was telling me that this young girl, she's 25 years old, she has diabetes. I mean, I was a little shocked. Now, of course, you could be born with diabetes, but as far as I understood, she wasn't born with diabetes, but due to taking so many antibiotics growing up, she was in gymnastics, and dirty, people... Gymnastics means dirty in the sense that, sweat and, a bunch of young gyms and everything. So she was, by nature, she's a sickly person. Easily get sick. Some people easily get sick. So throughout her life, 25 years old, but throughout her early life, she was taking a lot of antibiotics, which are said, apparently, according to this person, whatever, that it weakens your whole system, your whole body, your organs, and so many things. I mean, this person was saying that antibiotics are supposed to be used like in war or something. You get your something cut off and you put some antibiotics to it. I don't know, something like that. But saying it really destroyed her body, and aside from that, she used to drink a lot in college. So the antibiotics and the drinking a lot gave her diabetes. I mean, she's 25 years old, so I was surprised. It said that she has to wear this, I guess it's a new advanced thing. You wear something here on your stomach, and you wear something here, and it has insulin in it. You have to change it once a month. And somehow or other, it pumps the insulin in when you need it. It's like attached to your phone. But But diabetes is a suffering state. It's not a healthy state. And you could say that just based on the analysis of this person that she got diabetes due to acting in ignorance, drinking, taking antibiotics. She could have not done that and not been in the condition of having diabetes. So, that's just one example. The world is full of numerous, examples of people just trying to enjoy the dualities of existence, dvanda ramo, right? Enjoy the dualities, but finding themselves in suffering conditions where their mind has completely their crazy mind has completely just taken over. Just like last night we're hearing in the Bhagavad Gita, right? The horse and the senses, and so the crazy mind just takes over. The polluted mind, the polluted intelligence, the polluted senses, everything's just on fire with material desire, material progress, rajogun, tamogun. And then, people find themselves in really weird states. Like all over this nation, we suspect that there's so many mothers out there, and they can't even keep their own children, 2-year-old children. They can't keep them. Why? Their crazy mind, their crazy senses, their crazy intelligence just completely become polluted, hijacked by Rajagun, Tamagun, mostly due to drug intake and other things. But, attached to heroin, methamphetamine, whatever it is. And, the Child Protection Service comes, sorry, Miss So-and-so, we're taking your child. They take them, and the person, because they're so crazy, they can't get themselves together enough to actually to be healthy enough where the Child Protection Services say, okay, you could have your child. And they just go on like that, living. And their child's at some foster care. That's terrible. And it's all over the nation. It's all over the world. So this demonstrates the power, you could say, of the mind, the power of material nature, and therefore the idea is that the whole process of Krishna consciousness, it gives one the ability to take control of their life. It gives one the ability to take control of their life, which is important. They take control of their mind, they take control of their senses, they take responsibility, they learn how to sacrifice for others. That's the whole process, the training of the brahmacharya ashram. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take people who are not qualified in so many ways, which analyzing practically everybody who joins the ashram, that's the case, generally speaking. Spiritually, they're not qualified in so many different ways. And then it takes them, and hopefully over time, the idea is that they come out the other side and they're a lot better. They're like 1,000,000 times better than they would ever be if they wouldn't join. So, just as Dravida Prabhu was mentioned to me the other day after class, that Vijay Prabhu, he was mentioning that, speaking on the verse, in purport, Prabhupada quotes, Eta vaj janmasapalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranar atar diavacha shaya archananam sada. So, which means Acharanam Sada. Acharanam Sada. Yeah. So, which means that, Prabhupada paraphrase here, that this is text 39 purport. Thus, every living entity should serve the Supreme Person of Godhead by his prana, life, artha, wealth, intelligence, and words. So that means everything. And one should sacrifice. Sankirtan Yagya, sacrifice. So, and as Dravida Prabhu was mentioning the other day after class, he was saying this is the difference between the saints and the asuras. The asuras are always thinking, me, 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 me. I mentioned this some time ago, but my sister, I don't know why, Macy, when she was young, there was this really weird, I don't know how long it was, if it was 2 hours or 1 hour, 30 minutes, but some of it, there's a video cassette she used to like watching. She was a young girl, but put the video cassette in, and it was a bunch of like kids and their parents, and I don't know, somehow the whole theme was, what about me? You know about that one? Okay, you didn't watch. Maybe you look it up. I think it might be inspiring in your devotional life. I was joking. I don't think it'll be inspiring, but probably just waste of time. But it's interesting. Is just what about me? And there's like a whole song. They sing a whole song. What about me? What about me? So we could say that that's materialistic idea. Oh, what about me? Me, and me and mine. So, but the devotees, they say, well, no, what about others? I want to serve others. I want to engage others in Krishna's service. I want to bring others to Krishna. I want to help others as far as possible. And this is what Prabhupada did. He really sacrificed his everything for trying to help. So similarly, that's what we should do. Try to help. And Krishna, as it's saying here, he'll give us the intelligence. He'll give us the ability. He'll give us the ability to remember him, by having that ability of remembrance of Krishna, we will be inspired in Krishna consciousness. I mean, how can you be inspired in Krishna consciousness if there's no Krishna, right? Yeah, I'm really inspired in Krishna consciousness, but I'm never thinking of Krishna. It's like you're inspired in consciousness, not Krishna consciousness. You need Krishna in order to be inspired in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna will give that ability to us, even if we just have a little slight desire, which we should fan until it becomes what the qualification says we should have for attaining Krishna consciousness is greed, right? Tattadalaulam, that this greed is the price for Krishna consciousness. So if we don't have greed for Krishna consciousness, then we could say anybody who's here, we have some level of something going on there. But we could increase it to the point where it becomes greed, full-on greed. Just like some devotees who distribute books, they're greedy for it. They're really greedy. Nothing is going to keep them from distributing books. The world may explode. Nothing's going to keep them from distributing books. They'll still figure out how to distribute books. Apocalypse is going on. They'll still figure out how to distribute some books. So, just like this devotee Manidhar, I remember reading about him, but he said for some reason he got really sick, but he was like really sick, but still he wanted to go out and distribute books. And so Harikesh Swami, he like pretty much locked him in his room because Manidhar really wanted to go out. So then apparently Manidhar Prabhu, he climbed up the window and kind of made his way out. So it's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Something they'd lock him up in the Gambhira, so he wouldn't go out. And so if we could do that, that'd be if we could have some. I mean, we do have devotees like that all over the world who are greedy for the aspects of Krishna consciousness, and that's what keeps the movement alive. Actually, just imagine if there was no one like that. It's like we'd be a pretty sleepy movement. So. All right, so does anybody have any questions or comments? All right, I'm ready for it.
Just a comment. Charushmita Gulia says, Hari Hari Bol. No comment, no question.
So Hari Hari Bol. Okay. So you want me to chant. All right, I'll say Hari Bol to you too.
So the classic question that someone may have is that, all right, you are inclination, disinclination, and the resultant activities. So why doesn't Krishna just give us the inclination to serve him?
Yeah.
And and you are the cause of miserable conditions. Well, we get miserable because we don't serve him.
Yeah.
So it's Krishna's fault. Why doesn't he give us that inclination?
Yeah. Well, there's, say that Krishna is like the supreme, he's a supreme everything, but say supreme artist, supreme magician, supreme, right, musician. So, but he's also the supreme personality of God. It means perfect, and he's also perfect in loving relationships. For we have like the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is explaining that he's perfect in all these loving relationships he has with his devotees. So part of that perfection is that he gives us, or he gives the living entities, a opportunity to either show their affection for him or not. I mean, that's part of the perfection. It's not like, whereas, right, devotees sometimes quote, Prabhupada didn't, he said that Krishna doesn't pull out a revolver and say, love me, right? But Krishna's always trying to encourage us. I mean, that's the thing. As the super soul, he's always trying to encourage us. Please surrender to me. Please become a devotee. You're suffering so much. Please. And he sends his devotees all over the world, and so it's a big campaign. You can say Krishna's on a campaign to get us, to get our attention. And you could say also that that's a lot of what the suffering is, actually, in the world. The suffering, or the suffering in our life, you could say, a lot of it you could say is a Krishna trying to get our attention. Please, I'm here. Turn to me. You turn to me, all your suffering will be removed. And Krishna, it's not a secret what Krishna wants. I mean, you could say in loving relationships, or like in a marriage, for example, if there's a husband and wife, and the husband's always quiet, like he never really tells the wife, what he like she asks him, what do you like to, what would you like to eat, for example, if she was cooking. And he just never says anything. Oh, well, whatever you want, just I'm satisfied. Everybody, even the most simple person has something they like. Yeah, they have preference. But if he just said, just it's up to you, just whatever. And if she was to say, okay, well, where do you want to go on a vacation? And he kept on saying that, it's up to you, it's up to you. No, I don't know. And then he never really reveals his mind. And it's like, eventually she's going to be frustrated. What's this guy, why is he holding back? He's being secretive. He doesn't like me, he doesn't love me. What's going on here? So part of a loving relationship is revealing one's mind and telling people about themselves, for example. This is what I like, this is what I don't like. So Krishna, he's expert at that. In the Bhagavad Gita, what is he doing? This is how I am. This is what I like, this is what I prefer, in the Bhagavatam, and he gives a full picture of it. And of course, sometimes then people, but people have a hard time seeing that. So we would say that this is an aspect of Krishna's perfection, is he doesn't force us, but just somehow or other tries to encourage us, and hopefully over time the living entity turns towards him. So, yes.
You can see that practically speaking, there's a lot of, I don't want to say bait and switch, but it's like that, because the way that Krishna tries to reform our inclination, and that's what we're talking about here, is that your preference for what you want to do, is generally he'll send one of his dear representatives, like he does, and they're not interested in your inclination. They want to try to change it. Krishna's just seeing where you're at, and he's giving you, but they want to change it. So they'll say, "Well, come on and practice this yoga practice. Just sing this song. Concentrate on the song." All the ramifications of chanting Hare Krishna.
Eat this samosa.
Yeah, and then the prasadam. I was going to say that. Yeah, we have this nice food. Well, there's nothing here I like. We'll try this pakora. It tastes something like chicken. Whatever. You can even get that. And as soon as you take that first bite of that pakora, that's actually prasadam, your inclinations start changing. There's something that goes very deep. And Prabhupada was so intelligent, because even on every level, on a basic level, if someone gives you something to eat that you like, you're attracted to them. It opens up a channel of affection there. It's a classic thing, So the genius of the Sunday feast, which started in 22nd Avenue, you just make a lot of friends that way. And the point is that in the association of devotees, besides the prasadam, there's the talk, there's the singing, there's the personality itself. So someone's inclinations are being transformed there. They still have all the bad habits. We know that. They go off and smoke, or they do what but they're having, part of it is now this good habit. And so in that context, then when you get somebody to be willing to hear, and their intelligence can start to contemplate the philosophy, then you have a good chance of really changing their inclinations. So it's so that there's a lot of trickery involved. I mean, people don't know exactly what we're all about, but if they come in touch with a devotee, in touch with and then there's also massive book distribution, as you point out, where it's obvious what's going on. The philosophy is there. So the whole array of things that can attract one, where they think it's on a material level. I'm going there because I like the music, or I like the food, or whatever. I like the company. But they're actually getting attracted to Krishna. It's not usually that someone comes straight from the modes of passion and ignorance, and then suddenly they're mad about Krishna. They may think it's interesting, or I like this or like that, because it seems to please their senses. But in fact, there's a big transformation going. But you're right that to really succeed, then you have to take it 100%. And Prabhupada was always ready to do that. We had the facility where you can surrender and have a full program from beginning, from the time you wake up, where there's Krishna conscious activity. And then you can really transform your life completely.
Yeah, I was just thinking that one time Prabhupada told, I read this in Shruti Kirti's book. What was that book called? Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah, and Prabhupada asked the devotees, I guess in a morning walk or something, he said, "Oh, so is a Vaishnava, is he honest or is he crooked?" And all the devotees said, "Oh, well, of course, Prabhupada, he's honest. I mean, that's one of the Brahmins are honest." And then Prabhupada said, "Oh no, he's crooked." And the devotee, "Oh, how's that?" And I said, "Oh, well, just like I told all of you, just chant Hare Krishna, and that's it. Just take prasad, chant Hare Krishna. But now, so many of you are giving your life. So in this way, there's some transcendental trickery going on." So. All right, any last? What was it? Yeah. Any last?
Hattama Devidasi just says, the fire for Sankirtana book distribution should also be the same for prasada distribution. Harinama is another aspect, greed to give the holy name to everyone, the knowledge, the mercy, like that. Have a great day. Hattama Devidasi.
Sounds good. I think Damodar Kumar had a comment. Yeah, it's a good point. Greed for Harinam Sankirtan too, yeah. Greed for everything, right?
You're referring to Shruti Kirti's book, Krishna is crooked. Prabhupada said Krishna is crooked. And I remember Tukra mentioning how when Srila Prabhupada gave the first initiations, he initiated everyone, and then afterwards he told them what the regulative principles were. he had it on a bulletin board. He had the regulative principles on the bulletin board. Says, okay, so now you're all initiated, you have to follow like this.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the things that Prabhupada did, I mean, if any guru would nowadays, I mean, they'd be talking about it a lot. I could tell you a few other things, but okay. All right. Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.